This might go down in history as my most chaotic canning video. It is Thanksgiving break. The little kids are home from school and there's no telling what big kids might show up. So if this gets pretty chaotic, I'm gonna apologize in advance, but I think y'all need to know this because y'all liked the cranberry juice canning video so much. I figured y'all might want to see me can cranberry and blueberries. I froze a bunch of blueberries from our blueberry bushes because they were overproducers. And so I have a bunch of blueberries to use up. So I figured I would make cranberry blueberry juice. This is the one that we made like 2-ish weeks ago. So it hasn't sat the 3 to 4 weeks, but it's still perfectly fine to use. It's just not gonna be as concentrated. So I figured I would go ahead and show it to y'all. Some people were concerned about the sugar that sits on the bottom, and like I told y'all, it would eventually all dissolve. And then there's been a ton of questions about how you use this. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how I use it. I use it to make cocktails, so I mix it with vodka over ice, but today we're just gonna strain it off and drink it as juice. Because it's like 7:30 in the morning. Anyway. I was gonna find my jar opener. Let me find my jar opener. I grabbed a clear cup just so I could show y'all basically what it looks like. Perfectly sealed jar. I just take this lid and kind of position it onto the jar, and then this would be easier if I had the cup in the view of the camera, but I don't. So I just use the jar to help hold the berries off and then strain it into a glass. And that is the cranberry juice that you would drink. So I don't open all the jars after 4 to 6 weeks. I think that's what a lot of people are confused about. I don't open every single jar in 4 to 6 weeks and strain it off. I leave it in my cabinet with the berries on it, just like it was when we got done canning it, until I'm ready to drink it, and then I open the 1 jar at a time. So hopefully that clears that up. Like I said, add some vodka and some ice. An orange slice is really cute on the side. Sometimes I let a couple berries fall in just to make it look cute. Line your rim with some sugar, and it's like the perfect cocktail. But we also just drink it plain. So the leftover juice that I didn't drink, I'm just gonna put a lid on it and stick it into the fridge and drink this in like 3 to 4 days. I found that the longer you let it sit, it kind of starts having that winey taste, which I'm sure is fine to drink. I'm not really sure, but 2 to 3 days for fresh cranberry juice. So if you watched the last video that I did making cranberry juice, then you already know all of these steps, only this time I'm gonna sub in some of the blueberries for some of the cranberries. So this time we're gonna do 1 cup cranberries. These jars have been ran through my dishwasher, so they're clean and sanitized, and they're still a little bit warm, but they're not hot. And I'm gonna do 1/2 cup of blueberries in each jar, and then 1/2 cup of sugar. So 1 cup of cranberries, and then 1/2 cup of blueberries. I think I have enough for 12 jars, so I've already rinsed and cleaned all of my berries off before I started this video, so you'll want to rinse and clean your berries. So that's probably an important thing to note before somebody's like, oh, you're using unwashed berries. They're in a strainer. I washed them this morning. I measured just right. Just put all these in here. I think it's a little bit more than 1/2 cup, but I don't want to waste some since I already thawed them out. And some cranberries right away. right, so now that I've got all the berries in my jar, I'm just gonna go ahead and put my 1/2 cup of sugar into each jar. And now it's time to I add boiling water from the water kettle because these are warm jars. So you'll put warm water into them and put them into a hot water bath canner. If you were using cold jars or room temp jars, you'd want to put room temp water in these, put them into a cold canner and then bring it to a boil. But because I put mine into a hot canner, I have warm jars, hot water that's going to go into the jars, and then my canner is already warm, and then I will bring it back up to a boil. Hopefully that's clear as well, because some people were concerned about cold jars going into a boiling water bath canner. I use an electric kettle to heat up my water. It's a total game changer, so we're going to 1-inch headspace. The electric kettle is a total game changer because it boils the water so much faster than my stove. I don't know if y'all can see my outfit. I kind of giggled because I have like myself all put together up top, and then I feel like I'm on a Zoom meeting because I have workout shorts on the bottom. Yeah, just in case anybody sees that and they're like, oh my god, what is this girl doing? I live in workout shorts unless I go outside, and then I put on Duluth overalls or a pair of jeans. And because we're not going anywhere today, I just grabbed a sweater and threw it on over my shirt. So I figure I should make that clear just in case y'all see my crazy bottoms. So while I'm waiting on that next electric kettle, if you go back and watch my last video, the cranberries come from Aldi and they're 99¢ for a little mesh baggie. This is 12 jars, and that was 4 of the little mesh 99¢ baggies, and then the blueberries, like I said, I already had in my freezer. So these 12 jars were $4 in cranberries. I had my pot boiling, so I've gone ahead and removed my lid off and let the temperature kind of drop down again so that it's not a rolling boil when I go to add my cans in. Let's finish. I think I can fit 6 cans. I never can remember how many cans I can fit in my canner. It's 5 or 6. So I'm just gonna do 5 of these. And then see how many I fit in my canner. I don't like Superb lids. I know, everybody preaches about these, but I have had more failed lids using the Superb. Anyway, it says not to boil the lids, so I don't boil the lids. I found these in the back of my cabinet. We're gonna use them up. But I'm telling you, I've had more failed lids with Superb than Ball or anything else. I'm like, oh, I gotta clean these with vinegar. I am talking and gonna miss a step. Ooh, almost dumped that one over too. Okay. Now let's put our lids on. Okay, so I use just a basic stock pot from Walmart. I think it's Tramontina brand. It fits my jars perfect. It's got a flat bottom, so it allows me to can on my glass top stove. I don't have a rack to go in the bottom. You can use all kinds of things, jar rings, anything. I throw a washcloth in mine. And now we're just gonna set all of our jars. I think it's 5 that normally fits, but I might have to go back and fill one up with some water because it might be 6 that fits. It's 6 that fits. So now that I'll have all 6 jars in, I'm gonna just put my lid back on. My water is 1 inch above all of my jars. I'm gonna bring it back up to a boil. When I hear that it's boiling again, because I just put jars that probably aren't exactly the same heat as this, so it's gonna cool it down a little bit. When I hear it come back up to a boil, that's when I start my timer for the 20 minutes. So I told y'all that I don't like these lids, and I don't know what just happened, but I heard a poof, and literally the lid blew off of one of the jars. Like, the jar is fine, but the lid and the ring is completely gone. I'm telling y'all, I don't like these jars. I don't like the Superb lids. I don't know what happened here, but canning fails happen in even seasoned canner's kitchen. So I just wanted to show that. I'm gonna pull it out and dump it out. But let these finish canning and then I'll clean the pot for the next set. So my 20 minutes is up. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these from my canner. I just use a little jar lifter. There's some extra cranberries stuck onto the top since that one jar exploded. Clean these jars really well when they are done sitting for 24 hours, since they probably have sugar and berry juice all over them. Now for the fun part, cleaning up all the stuff in the pot. Fish all the berries out. So I was wondering if I accidentally grabbed a dented ring or like and maybe that's why it popped off, but I don't see anything wrong with the ring. So I might should check the jar rim and make sure it doesn't have a flaw in it. A lot of these jars did come from my grandmother, and so I did have a couple split the first few times that I used some of them, just because they're probably older. So there might be a flaw in the rim of that one. That might be something I want to check. Let me clean this pot up and then we'll get our next set into the canner. So I'm wondering if my issue is that I normally do put 5 jars in there and I had them too close together, because everything checks out with the rims and the rings. So I have a pretty cool pot I'm going to show y'all that I use when I'm canning like 1 jar of pickles. It's called an asparagus pot and it fits 1 quart jar. It's really neat. So this is an asparagus pot and it fits 1 quart jar, and it even has a little strainer. I love it for when like cucumber season is just starting and I only have like 1 jar's worth of pickles that I've pickled, because then I don't have to heat up the big pot. So I'm gonna put this one on. We're only gonna put 5 jars into my canner because I'm pretty sure that's what I normally do, and I just squeeze that 6th one in. And then we'll put the extra one in here.
with their brothers. Where'd you get that one?
It's got an asparagus pot and Mimi bought it for me one year for Christmas, so that when I have one jar, I can just use it. Sing Hooey. Mom, I'm putting 5 in this time, not 6. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it was just that one-time fluke.
You have to do those 5.
No, those have already been done. What you doing, Bill? Oh, croutons. No lids popped off that time. I'm just gonna go with it. It was like a lid jar issue. Who knows? I just wanted y'all to be aware that it does happen to even people who can all the time. So now that these are done canning, they will sit on the counter for 24 hours just to make sure that all the lids get a really good seal, because right when you pull them out of the canner, they're not sealed. You'll hear them start popping as they sit. Mine usually seal in like 5 to 10 minutes. So once they've all sealed, then you will remove your rings and you will date your jars. A lot of people look at my videos when I'm cooking with canning stuff and realize that I don't date my jars. I have a system. I store things in 3 places in our house because we don't have one giant place where I can store it all. So I have a system to where all the old stuff is always in, older stuff is always in my cabinet in my kitchen. That way I'm always using it first. So I have a system to where I never have old stuff sitting, and it's always to the front where I'm using it. And I pretty much use everything besides pickled peppers in a year. Pickled peppers, I have some that are 2 years old. These are shelf stable for a year, according to the big letter companies. But like I just said, I have pickled peppers that are 2 years old and they are still perfectly fine. So date your jars if you want to, if you don't have a system to where you move them always to the front. I think that I answered all the questions that I got from the last Canon videos in this one. If not, go ahead and drop those questions below and I don't mind answering them. I do not always check my notifications on here, so sometimes it takes me a week to respond, but I hope y'all enjoyed our canning video this time, and hopefully I answered questions that I did not answer in the last video.